This is a standard AA 1.5 volt alkaline cell. While many devices today, such as smartphones, tablets, and many other things, use rechargeable lithium-ion cells, these are still used in many other things, such as toys, TV remotes, and countless other devices. Now, the problem with these is that they are non-rechargeable. You use them and then you throw them away. In fact, worldwide, approximately 15 billion batteries are thrown away each year, with most of them ending up in places like landfills. This is an example of what is known as a linear product cycle, where resources are extracted to make products which are then distributed to shops and other places where people buy them, use them, and throw them away. That isn't really sustainable, and it's a reason why many people recently have been arguing for what is known as a circular economy, which not only has the potential to make our resource use more efficient and sustainable, but could also usher in a new age of abundance. So when it comes to human ecological impact, climate change really is only half the issue. I'm sure you've seen in recent years in the media stories of scandal when it comes to things like the dumping of e-waste in several African countries, or the Pacific and Atlantic garbage patches. Now, as most of you may know, there is only so much land we can fill, and oceanic pollution is disastrous for marine ecosystems. What we are seeing, due to our modern production habits, is the creation of what is known as the Anthropocene, which is made up of all our waste that we have thrown away over the years. And in the current socio-economic system, it is likely to continue, as it is often cheaper for companies and more convenient for individuals to simply throw something away rather than act on the alternatives. Linear production cycles, as opposed to more circular production cycles, are incentivized in this system, which is why I feel it would be beneficial for humanity to transition into a resource-based economy, because in such an economic system, in order to save resources and use our resources more efficiently, circular economics would be the preferred option. In a resource-based economy, we would question whether waste is really waste. Is that plastic floating in the ocean just simply waste to never be used again? Or could we put it back into use for other useful stuff? When it boils down to it, this battery in my hand is little more than a fancy, heavily engineered rock, of which has resources that could be used for many different applications. The zinc powder inside this cell could be repurposed for many different things, including as an alloying element, as a catalytic material, and many other things. That plastic that's floating around in the ocean, that's actually a pretty good and cheap construction material that could be used to make cheap housing for many people around the world. Part of my point is that we are entering a stage in our history where we no longer need to mine and extract resources from the natural world in order to obtain the resources that we need and use in our daily lives. Even around me in this room, there are many types of resources that could one day serve another purpose. In a resource-based economy, we could actually take on the task of reclaiming the Anthropocene and using the resources gathered from that to enrich humanity in a truly efficient and sustainable manner, and thus achieving the goals of creating a system that improves people's well-being while making efficient use of resources while also being sustainable. Now, earlier on I talked about how climate change is only half the battle. And while that's true, CO2 comes into this as well. We can capture CO2 via various means such as direct air capture, algae and so on, and CO2 from that can be used to make many things such as fuels, plastics, different materials and so on. There is so much stuff that we view today as waste that is actually an abundance of material wealth just sitting there waiting to be reused. And you know what? Nature does this all the time. Dead plant matter or animal waste, plants use that as a nutrient. CO2, plants use that as a carbon source. Animals then come and eat those plants, and the cycle continues on and on and on. Allow me to give another example. Here is a failed 3D print from when I was trying to create my digital microscope bracket that's being used currently behind me. Recycling 3D print filament is something that's being researched by numerous people, including a couple of YouTubers. If you have the means to do so, you can take your waste 3D prints and turn them into new rolls of filament. But not just that, if you're feeling a little bit adventurous and a bit experimental, you can try your hand at making new kinds of materials, such as what I'm trying to do with PLA and glycerol, where I'm trying to create my own sort of homebrew PLA+, or even a kind of flexible PLA. The tin from old circuit boards can be used to make new solder and has many different applications, such as in plating. Not to mention this circuit board contains a little bit of copper as well, which obviously has its uses. I'm just throwing examples out there. Now yes, as many have said prior, recycling is an energy intensive process, which means that alongside it we need to transition to clean and renewable energy as quickly as possible in order to facilitate the energy requirements needed for these processes. So, what can the average individual do in the context of today when it comes to propagating circular economics? Well, the answer really in the context of the current system is not that much. Individuals don't really have that much power over public policy in terms of environmental policy, and individual actions such as voting with your wallet and doing little feel-good things don't really have that much impact on the grand scale of things. The only real way for people to propagate a circular economy is to actively organize and engage in the practice at hand. An example off the top of my head could be something like organizing a group that offers the free collection of recyclable waste, perhaps. And let's not forget that this small-scale propagation of circular economics can be key to average people becoming self-sufficient, and thus is also key to people building these peer-to-peer resource networks that I've talked about in the past, that I feel are crucial in kickstarting the transition into a community ecology / resource-based economy. But all that is really just my 2 cents. I really hope to have further discussions with people in the comments section in terms of what they think about this. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, or at least found it informative. And if you want to see more videos like these, please subscribe and share this on social media and other forums as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.